السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. عاملين ايه الأخبار؟ النهاردة هنكمل مع بعض شرح concept 4.2 soil and environmental change. خلينا نقول بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ونبدأ زي ما احنا متعودين. المرة اللي فاتت كنا اتكلمنا عن what is meant by soil، وقلنا ان keyword of soil is loose layer، وقلنا كمان ان we have three types of soil: sand, silt and clay. وطبعا قلنا إن sand has yellow color while silt has gray color, and finally clay has black or dark color. What about size of particles? You have to know that the size of particles for sand is large, and we can say the key word of sand soil is large particles. I'm gonna explain these details. I'm gonna explain this part in details after few moments, okay? So the key word of sand is large particles. What about silt? The key word of silt is medium. It has medium size of particles. It has medium spaces among particles. Finally, clay has a small size of particles. So, to know everything about three types of soil, we are going to make this simple activity. So for our tools, we need filter paper, okay? Filter paper is something that we can find it in the science lab, and we use it as a colander in kitchen to remove water from pasta in the kitchen. We use colander, okay? So this is something like that. And we have here 3 measuring cups or conicals. We have 3 funnels, 3 types of soil: sand, silt, clay, with different, with the similar amounts. And we have a stopwatch to record the time. So what should we do now in this activity? Steps. Number 1, we are gonna put the funnel inside the measuring cup. Each funnel inside each measuring cup, as we can see here in the picture. What else? We are gonna put the filter paper inside the funnel, as we can see here, by this way. So each funnel has its own filter paper. After that, we are gonna add sand soil in the first funnel of the measuring cup, silt soil in the second funnel, third one, clay soil in the third funnel. All right? So what will happen after that? We are gonna add water for each type of soil, and then start to record the time by using a stopwatch. So what will happen, or what we can observe from this activity? As we can see here in this picture, is that sand soil gets rid of a lot of water, while silt soil, it gets rid of a medium amount of water, while clay holds or stores most amount of water, and it gets rid of a small amount of water. So let's get started with sandy soil. Remember, sandy soil has yellow color and it has large size of particles. As we can see here, we can find it in desert. So our observation is sand soil has large amount of pores or spaces. There are a lot of spaces between particles of sand. Again, sand soil has a large amount of pores or spaces among particles, so that it allows water to flow fast. It allows water to move fast. Okay? All right. So we can say sand soil can retain a small amount of water. كلمة retain هنا معناها hold أو store أو keep. لما أجي أسألك does sand soil keep a lot amount of water? No, it doesn't. It only retains a small amount of water, أو it only holds small amount of water. احنا متفقين مع بعض إن الكي وورد بتاعت الساند سويل كلمة large. لو أنا هتكلم عن the size of particles, it has large size of particles. لو أنا هتكلم عن البورز أو السبيسز it has also large amount of spaces. تمام. الحاجة الوحيدة اللي مختلفة وبتبقى small الwater retention. water retention يعني إيه؟ إن هي تعمل holding للwater أو storing للwater. يبقى sand soil retains a small amount of water. دي الحاجة الوحيدة اللي بتبقى small. دلوقتي جه دور السلت. احنا عارفين ان السلت soil has a gray color. كلام جميل. اهي دي شكلها. طيب what about the keyword of silt soil؟ برافو عليكم. it has medium. هنا بقى السيلت سويل لذيذة جدا ومسهلة علينا الدنيا. ليه؟ لأن الكيورد بتاعتها medium ماشية معايا في أي حاجة. بمعنى إن السيلت سويل has medium amount of water to flow. خلينا نبدأها من الأول. السيلت سويل has medium size of particles. وبعدين it has medium amount of pores أو spaces. عندها كمية السبيس بتاعتها medium. إيه كمان؟ قال لي it allows medium amount of water to flow أو to get outside إن هي تتخلص من المية. طيب إيه كمان؟ it retains medium amount of water يعني هي بتعمل hold أو store ل medium amount of water. فالسلت هنا مريحة جدا لأن هي كل الكيورد بتاعتها medium 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 medium. مفيش أي حاجة عكس التانية. يبقى افتكروا دايما السلت medium size of particles, medium spaces, medium amount of water to flow, retains medium amount of water. وافتكروا دايما ان retain معناها hold أو store أو keep. طيب اهي it has medium amount of pores أو spaces. نيجي هنا للclay soil وقلنا ان الclay soil has dark أو black color. واتفقنا مع بعض ان الكي وورد بتاعتها هي كلمة small. كلام جميل. So here clay it allows water to flow slowly through it. حلو جدا. So it has a small amount of pores. يبقى الكلاي الكي word بتاعتها كلمة small. A small size of particles, a small amount of pores أو spaces, and الريتنشن هتبقى عكسها. Clay soil can hold أو retain more amount of water. يبقى عكس small هنا هتبقى ايه؟ large إن هي بتحتفظ أو بتعمل keeping أو holding أو storing ل large amount of water. اتفقنا؟ اوكي اتفقنا. خلي بالكم ان موضوع ان هي allows water to flow دي بتكون opposite للبوينت بتاعت water retention. فثبتوا واحدة بس احفظوها عشان ما تتلخبطوش. السويل اللي بتعمل retention ل large amount of water أكيد it doesn't allow water to flow أو it allows water to flow slowly. فاهمين قصدي؟ Okay, so we have here this table that we compare among three different types of soil according to size of particles, color, flowing of water through it, and retaining water. Who can tell me what is the keyword of sand soil according to size of particles? Large, bravo. What about spaces or pores? Large also, great job. What about the color? It has yellow color. طيب, what about the silt in case of size of particles? Medium, bravo. What about the clay in case of size of particles? It will be small. طيب, what about the color? We said that sand has yellow color while silt has gray color, clay has dark or black color. Flowing of water through it. Sand soil allows water to flow very fast, to flow a lot amount of water. Silt medium. متفقين هي medium في كل حاجة. Clay soil slowly. طيب retention. Retaining water اللي هي keeping أو storing أو holding water. Thin soil small amount. Silt soil medium. Clay soil large. Okay? Great job. Here. What is that? Give reason. The soil that retains medium amount of water, like silt, becomes more fertile. Why the soil that holds or stores medium amount of water becomes more fertile? Simply because it keeps its organic materials and this helps in the plant growth. Here we have an important question that sometimes comes in the exams in the form of give reason. Give reason, different types. We have different types of soil. By the way, we know that we have 3 different types of soil: sand, silt, clay, with different properties. So here, give reason, we have different types of soil because أو due to different amounts of ingredients that form them according to. فاكرين في الفيديو اللي فات لما قلت لكم إن we have different ingredients، أو لما اتكلمنا عن ال components of the soil؟ اللي فاكر فيكم ال 5 components of the soil يا ريت يكتبهم لي تحت في الكومنتس، وهسيب لكم لينك الفيديو هيظهر لكم دلوقتي فوق عشان تراجعوا ال components of the soil كانت إيه. طيب يبقى هنا لو قال لي give reason we have different types of the soil، هتقول له due to different amounts of ingredients that form them، بسبب اختلاف كميات الانجريدينتس اللي بتكونهم according to ايه بقى؟ والله على حسب ال amount of organic materials in the soil، واحنا قلنا organic materials دي اللي هي dead plants و dead animals، وبرضه according to difference in the size particles، كل واحدة وليها size particles الخاصة بيها. And also inorganic materials، واتفقنا ان inorganic materials like water, air, small pieces of rocks. خلاص يبقى due to different amounts of ingredients like organic materials and inorganic materials and also size of particles. طيب هنا مثلا احنا قلنا المرة اللي فاتت ان inside each soil we have living organisms like fungi, bacteria, earthworms, insects. So the amount of organic materials in the soil، وإحنا قلنا organic materials like dead bodies, dead plants, and also living organisms زي ما قلنا fungi, bacteria, earthworms, و insects. طيب this leads to إيه؟ This leads to changing the appearance of the soil with changing the amount of nutrients that are available for plants. اختلاف الكمية بتاع organic materials في السويل ده بيؤدي إلى lead to a changing the appearance of the soil. شكل السويل بيتغير وكمان كمية النيوترينز بتختلف. For instance لو أنا عندي soil فيها high amount of organic materials of course it will be fertile، أو ال soil fertility هنا هتكون increases عالية جدا so suitable for planting. فاهمين قصدي؟ طيب وبعدين هنا قال لي the difference in the size of particles and inorganic materials leads to changing the appearance and texture of the soil, changing the ability of the soil to retain أو keep water. كمية هنا الwater والair والgravels والsand وsmall pieces of particles، كل الحاجات non living things دي اللي احنا بنسميها inorganic materials leads to changing the ability of the soil to retain water، إن هي تعمل retaining ل high amount of water أو retaining ل small amount of water على حسب. إيه كمان changing the ability of the soil to allow roots to grow، إن في أنواع من السويل allow the root to penetrate among its particles to absorb water، وفي types مش بتسمح بإن يحصل penetration للروتس بتاعة البلانت. عامة الجزء ده مش بيجي كتير قوي في الامتحان، هو just سؤال الجيف reason اللي نبهت عليه من شوية. هنا بقى نيجي في السؤال اللي بعده which one affects on another، مين ممكن يأثر على التاني؟ soil effects on climate or the climate effects on soil. What do you think? I can hear that someone there said soil effects on climate, and we have another opinion who says that climate effects on soil. All right, we have to respect all opinions, but you have to know that both of them affect on each other. How? Let's get started with talking about soil and climate. For example, here in this area is humid area. And when we say that we have humid area, it means we have rains. Humid, let's remember what is meant by humidity. Humidity, it means the amount of water vapor in the air. So it means we have evaporation, after evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. So during rains falling, it retains a large amount of water. But in humid areas, it retains a large amount of water. What about here? What will happen if heavy rains fall on humid area? What do you think? What will happen? soil will be waterlogged and has little amount of air. waterlogged here معناها إن هي مشبعة بالمياه. It has enough water, enough amount of water. So soil will be waterlogged and has little amount of air. All right. So that may wash down the nutrients of the soil. So minerals may fall below the soil layers. يعني إيه الكلام ده؟ أنا دلوقتي عندي humid areas. In case of humid areas we have a lot of rains. When rains falling down, إحنا قلنا إن الsoil here in these areas hold أو keep أو retains water لدرجة إن الsoil will be waterlogged. It has enough amount of water and little amount of air. So what will happen? All of nutrients that's found inside this soil will be moved downward into other layers of the soil. Nutrients and minerals, which is called wash down. So nutrients and minerals will move downward into other layers of the soil. So it leads to formation of hard layer that doesn't allow roots of the plant to penetrate and absorb nutrients. Okay, so it will form a hard layer the plant root cannot penetrate and plants cannot grow either. Okay. All right, what about here this soil or this area? Of course, it's not humid area, it's a dry area. So in case of hot, dry areas, we have evaporation process is more than precipitation. So the soil which is rich with clay particles, the clay becomes dry due to drought conditions. All right. So that will form a layer that doesn't allow much water to flow. So the clay soil in case of hot, dry areas will be dry, and it will form a layer that doesn't allow much water to flow. دلوقتي بقى حان الوقت ان احنا نتكلم عن السويل اند ecosystems وده الجزء اللي بيجي اكتر في الامتحانات. Number 1 soil in grasslands. احنا عارفين ان grassland habitat it's a type of habitat. By the way احنا اخدنا مع بعض في grade 4 ان habitat means a place where living organisms live. حلو. وإن الهابيتات دي provides shelter, food, and water for living organisms to survive. And also we studied together that we have different types of habitat. Grassland habitat, rainforest habitat, Antarctica habitat. We have ocean habitat, river habitat, sea habitat, and so on. So for instance, here we have grasslands like that found or locates in Central Africa, which is called savanna grassland. So savanna grassland, the first thing that you have to know about it is it has sand soil. نفتكر مع بعض sand soil, it has bravo, large size of particles, large pores or spaces, or it has yellow color. And sand soil here in this area is dry and drains water fast. نخلي بالنا بقى إن drains is the opposite of retains. احنا قلنا retains معناها keep, hold, store. طب drains معناها إن هي allows water to flow fast. يبقى أول حاجة محتاجين نعرفها عن السافانا غير إن هي located in Central Africa, it has sand soil. والsand soil بتكون dry and it drains water fast. What else? So large plants cannot grow there, only grasses, so that it's called as grassland habitat. Alright. طيب, what about the animals that live there? Before talking about animals that live there, we have to know that it contains variety of grasses. Variety, which means we have different amounts of grasses. But if we're talking about animals, we can say that we have two types of animals. The first type's animals which feed on plants or grasses only. Another type of animals that feed on other animals, feed on meat. So, animals which feed on plants or grasses called herbivores. Repeat it again, herbivores. Herbivorous here the first section of the word herby جاية من كلمة herbs اللي هي plants أو grasses. Herbivorous such as gazelle or deers. They depend on these grasses and small plants. طب which animals can feed on gazelle? Yeah, tiger, lion, and cheetah. So large and fast carnivores such as lions and cheetahs اللي هم اسمهم leopards depend on herbivores like gazelle. هنا carnivores it means animals which feed on meat, feed on other animals. طيب نيجي هنا. Soil in bogs, another area, another habitat. Bogs like ponds and swamps. Okay? So what do you think? Does the soil in bogs is dry also? No, it's humid. So, soil in bogs is clay soil that retains much water very well. So the soil will be wet most of time. يبقى أول حاجة محتاجين نعرفها في موضوع الهابيتات إن إحنا لغاية دلوقتي اتكلمنا عن 2 هابيتات. أول واحدة كانت الجراسلاند هابيتات اللي هي في السافانا، فمحتاجين نعرف which type of soil found there in savannah. قلنا إن هي sand soil. طب الساند soil دي moist ولا dry؟ dry طبعا. طيب which animals live there؟ قلنا cheetah and gazelle. طب لو اتكلمنا هنا عن الsoil in bogs it has clay soil والclay soil retains a lot amount of water so it's moist wet most of the time. طيب the moist conditions in bogs lead to very cool temperatures. وبعدين which animals بقى can live there in bogs؟ قال لي frog. There is we have many animals such as frog. What else? Mosquito. يبقى محتاجين نعرف مين الانيمالز اللي بيعيشوا في البوجز. mosquitoes and frogs. وبكده نبقى خلصنا part 2 من concept soil and environmental changes. أشوفكم إن شاء الله المرة الجاية في part 3. مع السلامة.